Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. Today we have a pleasure to talking with Robin, a trailblazer in tech journalism and event. As a founder of Virtual Event Group and the creator of Living in Digital Times, Robin has seen firsthand how technology is reshaping the world of children's toys, education, and play. In today's interview, we are diving into the topic of raising AI kids and how artificial intelligence is really influencing the next generation and what parents, educators, and toy makers need to know. And Robin will share some of her thought on the importance of the tech and the future of the AI-powered toys and how we can potentially help kids to grow up in the digital first world. And thank you so much for joining us on the interview today, Robin.
My pleasure.
How do you got involved in this, what you do, and a little bit of background?
So crazy. I'm going to try and keep it short. So I became the editor of PC Magazine in the way back days.
Oh,
when
okay.
Bill Gates was writing DOS and Steve
Yeah.
Jobs and Wozniak were building a little computer in their garage. And really, it was an amazing time because the personal computer was just being invented and people were so hungry for information. I did that for many years, but then I started a magazine in the 90s called Family PC. And that's how I got involved with kids because
Okay.
I felt that parents were raising a generation of then digital kids on computers when they were just learning about computers themselves so that our magazine could talk to them. It was owned by Disney and Ziff Davis, and we reviewed kids' products every day. Fast forward, I do a lot of different things now. I run events, I speak, I do all sorts of things. But my roots really were in the beginning of the PC era and watching it and how it would affect family life.
What excites you the most about the potential AI's role in the children's development today?
So I'll give you the exciting part, and then I'll give you the not so exciting part. The exciting
go ahead.
part. So think about it. It's a lot like when apps first came out for toys. You bought a toy, and then it had an app on the side, and the app gave you, for the same money, extra play. Like you got extra time to play, more stories, more combinations of things. And it turned out as to be very expensive for toy makers to do that. They had to build a whole app and a world for every toy that they launched. It's the same with AI, but different. So let's just say you have a plushie toy or a robot or drawing tools. With AI powering them, you can buy the toy once. Again, it can be ever changing. So I can say, tell me a new story today, teddy bear, or draw me a different background, or help me create a scene that's in my imagination. And kids are getting exposed to this, and it's also going to be their future careers. Let's be honest, that is the trajectory for them. So it's almost important that they start to understand how to phrase a prompt and how to get what they want from their toy.
Yeah, and I think how common ChatGPT and the rest of the AI is in our day-to-day life. I do use it on a daily basis myself for different aspects. And from your perspective, being participating in all the different technology and different events, how do you think the AI-powered toys are going to be changing the way that the kids play and learn?
It's going to ask them to use their imagination. So I'll give you an example. There's a toy called Poe the Talking Bear, and he's powered by ChatGPT. So you get the bear and you get an app, and the parent has to set it up, which is a nuisance. But the parent then gives the kid not all of ChatGPT, but the safe part. So you can say, make me a story with a princess and a castle and a sword. And then ChatGPT goes and writes that story, and the bear talks the story. So you get endless play patterns and an entertained kid for a much longer time than the old beacon spell where you just pulled a string and it said one thing. So now the combinations of what a toy can say are infinite. Even early robots, and I'm sure your audience is familiar with robot toys, they had a small vocabulary.
Yeah.
Now they can talk to you forever. They can be your buddy. They can tell you what the weather is. They can tell you how to dress for school. So you're going to start to see existing toys that we all know start to put AI in them. So if you use your imagination, what would Lego do with AI? Maybe it would say, Robin, take a picture of all those Legos you have, and then I'll show you what we can build with it. Or I'll build a story for you, or we'll build a book together about your Lego creation. So I think you're going to start to see new ways that existing toys will add AI. Right now, what you're seeing is a lot of chatbots. So you could talk to a chatbot. It's fun. You could talk to Mickey Mouse. You can talk to Cinderella, but it's limited. I think the real value is going to come when toy makers let kids use their imagination to get more. I'll give you another example. Sometimes the AI is on the back end. So there's a company called ReadyLand. They make books that you can read with Alexa as your guide. And I don't want to talk to her because she's sitting right there. But if you were to say, Yoo-hoo, Alexa, the child starts to read the book with Alexa. And then she says to them, what's your favorite color? And they tell her. Now with AI, first of all, on the back end, the Alexa knows maybe the kid wants to go to the bathroom. We're saying, I'm hungry. It has nothing to do with the book. So they can start to parse out language that only an AI would be able to know and start to make it more intelligent. Kids are different. Sometimes they're doing their homework, and a lot of kids are using ChatGPT in school.
Yeah.
Teachers are
Isn't
worried.
controversial? I know some school actually banned the use of ChatGPT as well.
Some ban it. I think the
Yeah.
better ones encourage it with guardrails.
With the guardrails.
How do you attribute? If you're in sixth grade and you're writing an essay about the Civil War, what should the attribution be if ChatGPT contributed? And like I said, it's really early days, but we will get better. Can ChatGPT be your friend to play a game with? Absolutely. They play chess. They play checkers. They're really damn good at those.
Yeah,
games.
you couldn't
So
beat them
I
nowadays.
think
Actually.
there are even drawing programs for kids that are AI powered. Genie Kids is one that's quite cute, but you do pay $10 a month to use it. A kid can decide to create a book or an image or a doodle, and through prompts, through the text, their book gets imagined by them. So what does that teach a kid? Logic and critical thinking, organizing their thoughts in order, and creating a succinct prompt. And those are going to be exactly the skills that the future workplace is going to require. So in a way, it's really good. And I don't think any parent should leave their kid all alone with an AI and always be checking in, but it's a very powerful way to think about what their future is going to be like.
In your opinion, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges we'll face when we're raised
Oh my
in
God.
an
Well,
AI-driven world?
where do we start? We certainly know that all of the AIs give bad information a lot of the times. So you have to teach your children and yourselves to be a much more judgmental about this doesn't make sense. No, 2 plus 2 is not 8. I know this because sometimes ChatGPT or one of the other AI engines will just give you the wrong information. So you have to learn how to verify. You have to learn when a movie they're showing you is actually created by an AI, created by a person. So there's a lot of dangers. I would say more dangers. The only other thing I can compare it to is social media. When social media first became popular, I would go around on the lecture circuit and tell parents, do not leave your kids just alone with this. Anybody can talk to them. Set ground rules, set time limit, set boundaries, know who their friends are. There are all sorts of things that as technology advances, the opportunity is great, but the potential for harm is really great also.
Yeah. And as someone who has been an advocate for tech literacy, what are some of the key skill set that you think the kids should develop to strive in the current digital?
Yeah. So first, I think they've got to do this with the parents. Like you start, and most of the things that are out there today require an app and require parental guardrails set up. So that's really good. But I think a parent's job is also to tell their kid, you just made this beautiful book by typing text and then pictures occurred. Do you know why that happened? But it happened because of AI. And AI, if you think about it as the language of everything that has ever passed the internet, all in there, then taking your questions and predicting the answer, giving you the answer you need. If you start to be able to explain that to your children in easy terms, just like I did, I have a 12-year-old grandson, and I say to him, how do you think you made that picture? You typed in, draw me a picture of a UFO with spacemen on the moon. And it happened. Why did that happen? And then we get into the discussion. It happened because the AI engines have thousands and hundreds of millions of all sorts of images in their library. And then you say to them, what would happen if you changed something? If you said, make that same moon picture, but make it like Renoir would do it or Van Gogh. And then you see the changes. So it's your job to be their kind of co-guide and
Yeah.
show them that this is happening, but it's happening why? Because otherwise they'll just
Yeah, I think the difficult part is the AI is evolving so quickly and so fast. Sometimes, as a parent myself, it's hard to keep up with with the different new feature that they have nowadays.
yeah,
I think
I
I've
know.
tested,
And I
like,
think
you can
some
take
of
a
the ones
picture
that will
and
get
use
it,
the images. So you can upload images to ChatGPT and have the ChatGPT to decipher what is in the images nowadays. And they also
yeah.
have a lot of new feature they are rolling out.
We played with a kids game called Pixiecade, and it's been around for a long time. It's by a company called Bit or Genius, and a
Mm.
kid can build a video game, but it had standard parts, a tree, a box, a house. Now it uses AI, so you can say to it, it's a version of Midjourney working in the back. So you can say, I want a scene in the woods with animals and wolves and tigers, and you describe it, and then it paints it for you. So your video game gets richer. So I think you're going to see a lot of games that we have always played use AI to change the game up.
Yeah, that's true. One of my passion is also helping children with special needs. How do you see the role of AI in helping children with special needs, and how can different toy makers be part of that?
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that also, because think about it. Let's say you have a child with visual problems. AI can turn those visuals into the spoken word. Let's say you have a multi-language child.
Yeah.
AI can easily translate anything. So if English is a second language, or if you're having problems speaking, you can lower the speech rate. You can higher the speech rate. If your child is hearing impaired, it can put up closed captions. We all do this in YouTube all the time now. So more and more, we are getting used to whatever it is, making your text, your fonts bigger, making your colors different, doing things that let things talk to a more accessible audience. And I think toy developers should really understand this. And this stuff, you should not have to squint and go, what is that saying I should click on? So AI powering design on the
Mhm.
back end for toy designers and AI for any population that is experiencing some sort of limited ability. AI is great. And we're just talking about our screens now. Imagine when you can put on glasses and the glasses will tell you're about to hit a building or you're driving over the speed limit or you're walking too fast. So all sorts of things with each step in technology, I believe it becomes more accessible to more people.
Yeah. And do you think the kids today are a little bit overexposed to technology right now?
Yeah, they are. It's a serious problem. We know our kids spend too much time online by a long shot, but are there things you can do? Yes, like every setting in your browser, you can put time has parental controls. You can set time limits and you can set time limits for games. You can set time limits for email. And so some of it, yes, we know that the TikToks and the YouTubes of the world have created algorithms that encourage kids like heroin to stay on more, to search more, to get the next. But parents, they all have tools built in to limit the amount of time that you spend. And I think parents need to get familiar with them. And I think that we're just starting with AI. As I said, attribution's a big one. I made a drawing, but maybe it came from, if I made a drawing of a can of Coca-Cola, that's a copyrighted thing. Some
Yeah.
kid needs to understand what a copyright is, what
Mm.
intellectual property is. These conversations are going to come up more and more in the household.
What do you think of things that parents should be mindful of when they are choosing any kind of AI driven toys or educational tool for their kids?
So many things. This is really still the pioneer days of AI tools. So if your kid says, I'm going to have a chat with Mickey Mouse now, you really depends what age. Like if they're 3 years old, it's okay for them to believe they're talking to the Tooth Fairy or Santa or Mickey Mouse. But at some point, you have to say to them, this is a chat bot that
Yeah.
is talking to you based on your responses. And it's up to each parent to decide when they want. It can be really magic. I don't know if you've tried some of these chatbots for kids, but they're wonderful. They're friends if you are the kind of kid that doesn't have a lot of friends at school and needs to talk to somebody. It's not a bad idea. On the other hand, every parent should be wearing their watch all the time and saying, after 20 minutes, we're done with this and we're going to move on to something in the real world. So I think
Yeah.
the secret to parenting in the digital world is always going to be this balance. And the thing that drives me the craziest are parents that sit on their phone when they take their kid out somewhere. And because it's just reinforcing that
Yeah.
model of being
I'm guilty
dramatic.
of that sometimes myself.
I know. And don't you hear the
Yeah.
kids saying to their parents, would you please put that phone down? So we're just learning these behaviors. And we have a lot of years now of watching this with, as I said, with mobile apps, with social media. AI is no different, but it is different. It's really powerful because it is the sum of human language built back at you. And it probably is the most powerful thing since the computer itself that will change these kids' lives and everything that they do. So the holidays are coming. I would say to every parent, yes, maybe ChatGPT or Midjourney or one of the AIs can do some of your holiday cards, but maybe your crayons should do the others. It's a
Right.
mixed media world, and you should be adept at all those medium.
Yeah, and based on your perspective, because we go to a lot of different technology trade show, what are some of the trend that you're seeing, especially when you're looking at all the different manufacturer right now on what type of technology are they trying to incorporate? You mentioned a few things already, as far as including AI as part of the design itself, and what other application have you been?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
right now in the toy industry, AI is being used more on the back end, on the design side, the workflow, the marketing, the sourcing. I'll give you a couple of examples. Alibaba.
mhm.
You can go on Alibaba and say, I need 100 doll heads with purple hair. Where is the best place in the whole world to buy them for my toy? And it will go out and it will search the entire world. It will create the RFP for you. It will send it out. So that's one place. It's actually being used in the AI being used in the manufacturing. AI is being used in the design in that what if this doll had articulated arms? What would that look like? Or what if these wheels could go backwards and forwards? Build me a digital twin of this toy and let me see it operate, and then I will build it. So for inventors, for the first time, they don't have to build anything and they can test their product and see if it's working. Not quite, but a lot of the yeah, but we're getting there. For marketing, we can go in right now and I can ask ChatGPT to make me a 3 sentence jingle that I can use to get my new dollhouse out on the market to an audience of Americans or Asians or Latinos or whoever, and it will customize that. And it gives you, the more you work with it, the more it knows you and the more it tailors its answers to you. And I'm going to go back to this. It's all in that prompt and how you phrase your question.
Mm.
And that's what kids are going to learn when they play with these toys. And there's only a handful of these toys on the market now. Like I said, there's a bear, there's a game making program, there are a few robots, there's a few
Mhm.
chatbots, a few art programs, but I think it's just the beginning.
Yeah. And I think also people are just getting used to the concept of having the AI in the toy. It takes some time for people to have a better understanding on the implication, and maybe some parent actually doesn't feel very safe to have a AI in the toy yet as well.
Yeah, this holiday, as I said, when we started, apps didn't do that well in the market.
Mhm.
Why? Because it added a little to the price of the toy. The parent had to be there installing the app. They don't want the extra bother. And
Yeah.
so the apps, they're getting more used to it. You know what changed everything? A QR code. Because all of a
Uh,
sudden the parent could say, boing, the app came up, the parent could set it up instead of going to the store, the Apple store, the Google store and finding the app. So
yeah.
things have gotten easier. The same thing will happen with AI. It will get easier. But for right now, I think parents need to do the legwork. Designers need to use the tools and get familiar with them and then ideate, think about how it's going to make a better tool. Like the worst thing they can do is just put AI in there just because it's there. And I've seen some of those.
Yeah, that's
Like
not
you
a
really want to have a reason for doing what you do.
What would be your main advice to give to the toy manufacturer who want to integrate in AI in a way that both fun and beneficial for the kid?
First of all, I would look at the education space. They're actually doing it really well. So the beauty of AI is I'm going to call it hyper personalization. I know Jimmy. I know he's 8 years old. I know this is how he talks. I know this are the problems he's having trouble understanding, and start to build things that can help each individual. So an AI, as it learns more about you, will do more that you want. And so I think the toy manufacturers have to really think about each product they create and then say, where would AI be helpful? Is it in extending the play? Like it might be with Legos. How would you extend the play if you had an AI? Like it might be taking pictures of your things, drawing storybooks with it. So it has to feel authentic and organic. There are music making programs for kids now that will write me a song that has a calypso beat with a drum and a horn, and ta-da, it's done. Or make me a movie. And so kids are going to grow up with these tools, and a lot of them will be tools that we use as professionals, but scale down for kids.
Yeah.
And that will be their first step. Just like the coding tools were, all the coding toys that would teach kids to code. Because of AI, they don't have to code as much. It's not as important. So it gets really interesting. They do need to be logical thinkers, critical thinkers. They do need to be organized in how they create a prompt, but they don't really need to know a language as much as they used to, like Python or C. That's not like a skill for the future that's as much in demand. So it's really changed.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you for sharing that. For our listener that would like to reach out to you and maybe ask some additional follow-up question, what is the best way to find you online?
So my website is virtualeventsgroup.org. And we do have meetings where we discuss these topics and others all the time. You can find me on LinkedIn, just Robin Raskin, Raskin. I'm there quite frequently. And Facebook. Not Twitter's out of the mix this week, but
Yeah.
Blue Sky for sure. So on all the social media, I'm pretty active and really try and tell parents I can't underemphasize this misinformation enough. We just had an election where we saw AIs
Yeah.
being used to clearly misinform people and lead them the wrong way. So as a parent and now a grandparent, I can tell you that you just have to stay vigilant. You have to get educated about this stuff, and you have to co-play with your kids so that they understand what's going on, when it's AI and when it's real.
Got it. But thank you again for being on our show today. And for our listeners, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We really hope you have enjoyed today's conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support and would love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend and colleague. For more resource tips and the latest update in the toy industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag Toy Business Unboxed. We would love to hear your feedback and suggestions for the future episode. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joy to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.